Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to episode 5 of my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. The purpose of this podcast is to examine our suffering in different parts of our lives, understand what has created it, and find a way to transform all or part of our suffering to create more peace, joy, and freedom in our lives. Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk and teacher, once said, "The seed of suffering in you may be strong, but don't wait until you have no more suffering before allowing yourself to be happy. Even while you have pain in your heart, you can enjoy the many wonders of life, the beautiful sunset, the smile of a child, the many flowers and trees. To suffer is not enough." I love this quote because it reminds me that no matter what is happening in our lives, we have an opportunity to transform our suffering, or at least experience something new and possibly joyous. Which brings me to the topic of this podcast today. One of the key reasons we suffer is because we often believe that this moment is not enough. We might have a problem we want to solve or a goal we want to achieve, and we believe if we could just get through this period or reach this achievement, then we could rest, then we could smile, or then we could enjoy the fruits of our labor. But what if by focusing on the one thing that will bring us future happiness, we are creating tremendous suffering, and our joy can only truly be achieved when this moment is enough, regardless of what happens tomorrow? You might hear the phrase, "let this moment be enough," and feel immediately relieved and experience joy and peace, like a burden is lifted. It feels like we have permission just to be okay with what is. It is also possible the idea of letting this moment be enough might make you feel nervous or agitated. You might feel you have so many dreams and goals in your life and you want more than this moment is offering you. But this can be the root of some of your suffering. I just want you to consider the idea that maybe this moment can be enough, and you can still work hard to achieve new things in your life or make your life better. When this moment is enough, all you are doing is giving up the emotional struggle against the moment and allowing yourself to open your heart to what is while you keep working on what you want your life to be. Before I give you an exercise to help you embrace this idea, I would like to share with you a story about when my first book, The Gift of Maybe, was released in 2014. I had dreamed of this moment for years. After receiving 45 rejections, having originally self-published my book, not having one radio interview or one magazine accepting a submission for my work, I decided to give my book away for free on Amazon for 3 days. It made the Amazon bestseller list. After this happened, I had an offer from Penguin Random House to buy my book and publish it. It was an opportunity to share my work with the world and was truly a dream come true. I started to get radio interviews, and I had offers to write for Psychology Today, Huffington Post, and Inc.com. I was launching my book at Barnes & Noble in the middle of New York City. All my friends and clients were joining me for the evening. I was so happy that it almost took my breath away. The day before the launch at Barnes & Noble, my agent called me. She is a lovely woman and has always been supportive, but that day she told me that if I did not sell 25,000 copies of my book, I would not get a deal for my second book. And the night before I was about to launch my book at Barnes & Noble, I started to suffer greatly. Over the years, I've decided to label this pain second book suffering. I started to feel the pressure and stress of having to sell 25,000 books to continue my journey. I had everything I dreamed of, and there I was suffering about what I did not have or what might not be. It made me feel my dream was limited, and it took me to a place where the moment was not enough. So the night before my book signing, instead of thinking about my book talk and celebrating, I opened the first chapter of my book and started to do the maybe exercise at the end of the chapter. I now look back and laugh at the thought of a self-help author reading her own book to make herself feel better. I sat there trying to release the thought that I needed to sell 25,000 books to be successful, joyful, or to continue my journey as a self-help author. I did let it go that night after about 20 minutes of doing the maybe exercise, but my second book suffering came back several times over the years. If I appeared on a radio show and did not sell a lot of books, or I could not get an appearance on a morning television show, the second book suffering reared its ugly head. The maybe mindset always helped me get out of the trap, but so did embracing this idea that this moment is enough. I became tired of the suffering and the inability to enjoy what I had and what I was experiencing. So whenever I wrote a blog, spoke to a client, appeared on the radio, I would say before the event, this moment is enough. When I heard from someone my book helped, I thought this moment is enough. I didn't need to be anywhere other than where I was, and my heart felt open and completely joyful. I still work very hard each day. I have goals and dreams, and I'm still working on that second book, but I don't take on the suffering of what will or will not happen tomorrow in this moment. I am sure as you're listening to this podcast, you can think of a type of suffering you are creating in this moment, about how to solve a problem, better your career, or help your child. But what are these thoughts stealing from your life in this moment? There will always be things in the outside world that might not go as planned or desired, or there will always be something else to do or achieve. We are always thinking we have another day, so this day doesn't have to be the best moment and can be sacrificed for another time when things in our lives are better. But what if that day never arrives? What if we keep putting off everything and never enjoy what was in front of us all along? And even when we achieve our goals, did we have to suffer each day? And sometimes when we do achieve a goal or solve a problem, there's always another goal or unexpected challenge, and we end up trading one kind of suffering for another. So the truth is, only when this moment is enough will we be able to find peace and the deepest joy. It is also such a relief to let this moment be enough. We put so many layers and complications of what needs to happen for us to be okay, but when this moment is enough, our minds can rest, our breath can slow down. We can look around us and see the beauty and appreciate who we are and where we are. We can enjoy what we accomplished. We can enjoy the sunrise, a cup of coffee, or a conversation with a stranger. Everything becomes important and sacred. There are all these miracles unfolding in front of us all the time. But if they are not in line with our goals and stories of what needs to happen, we miss them, banking there's a bigger prize coming to us tomorrow. And this moment being enough doesn't mean all your pain will go away if you're struggling, but it brings the joy of what is right in front of you to take center stage, and you can make the most of this moment. I would like to share with you the following exercise for you to try and embrace the idea that this moment is enough. First, look at how you are feeling about what you have achieved in your life, and what is making you feel bad or uncomfortable about what is not happening. Why are you suffering? I have clients that suffer in their career, believing their stressful job that they dislike could lead to something good in the future. I've had clients that are alone and suffer with the belief that they could only be happy when they have a new boyfriend or girlfriend. Other times, a client can be worried about their child and believe they will be happy when their child starts getting better grades. And I also have had clients that suffer because they thought at this point in their life they would have achieved more, or are frustrated that things are not happening on their timeline. Now name your suffering. Do you have career suffering? My child is not happy suffering? I wish I could find a husband or wife suffering? When you name it, it has less of a hold on you. It's like you separate from your suffering on some level. You start to see it's just a thought taking up space in your head. Also, try to recognize if you're able to solve your problem or achieve your goal. The next day, you'll most likely have a new type of suffering if this moment is not enough. Just as an example, the client who had child grade suffering helped her son improve his grades, but now she has I need my son to get into a good college suffering. And the client that had I want a boyfriend suffering married a great guy, and now she has marriage suffering. I am not saying these clients are not happy, but they put off today for a future that also came with other challenges. We could spend our life exchanging one suffering for another or try to make this moment enough. So think about all these questions for a while and really try to understand your suffering and how it's keeping you from your daily joy. Now say to yourself, this moment is enough. How does that make you feel? Say it again. This moment is enough. Does it alleviate a burden inside of you? Remember, you are not saying I'm not going to pursue my goals or dreams, and you are not denying you have a problem. You are merely allowing this moment to be, and you are making peace with it. You are not struggling with what this moment brings, and now you could see its beauty and depth, the depth of everything that you are and everything around you. Say it again. This moment is enough. Be thankful and be appreciative, and recognize this moment does not dictate the rest of your life. Remember, life is uncertain, and that means there's hope that everything you want could still happen, but very few things are worth the price tag of sacrificing today. If you like this podcast, please leave a review on iTunes. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. My book, The Gift of Maybe, is available at all major bookstores and online retailers. I hope you enjoyed this discussion about how you could relieve some of your suffering by accepting this moment as enough.